Look at a traditional machine, and you see gears, levers, and predictable moving parts. But if you try to apply that strict mechanical logic to the human body, the entire framework stops cold. For centuries, science studied biology through the lens of classical physics, the same rigid rules we use to build engines and bridges. Today, that approach has hit a mathematical wall. The problem lies directly in the architecture of our computers. The traditional silicon chips inside our CPUs use a binary, step-by-step logic. This creates a computational traffic jam known as the von Neumann bottleneck. They simply are not built to handle the spontaneous, parallel processing of biological intelligence. This chart highlights the energy gap. You can see the massive gigawatt energy draw required by a modern supercomputer just to simulate a tiny portion of a brain's activity. Compare that to the microscopic fraction of a watt drawn by the 86 billion neurons operating inside your head right now. This massive disparity reveals a stark truth. We cannot just scale up our current silicon blueprints to match the efficiency of human biology. This computational gridlock is currently stalling the field of drug discovery. To design better drugs, researchers need to virtually simulate how complex molecules behave and interact. Classical computers lack the sheer processing power to accurately track those variables down to the atomic level. We struggle to simulate life because life is not a classical machine. When you zoom past the tissue, the blood, and the cells, you enter a realm governed entirely by the strange, chaotic rules of quantum mechanics. To truly map the human body and cure its most stubborn diseases, medical science has to rebuild its foundation upon this quantum reality. We already rely on quantum physics to simply look at biological structures. The practice starts with wave-particle duality, a strange principle where subatomic elements behave as both a solid particle and an energy wave at the same time. By harnessing that exact dual behavior, scientists like Ernst Ruska developed the electron microscope. It gave researchers the ability to finally see microscopic threats, like viruses, face to face. We see another quantum tool in hospitals every day. Magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, relies on nuclear magnetic resonance. It interacts with hydrogen nuclei via high magnetic fields to map the inside of the human body without making a single physical incision. These diagnostic tools proved something essential. The core building blocks of human health operate entirely outside the laws of classical physics. Every living cell relies on the active transport of electrons and protons across its membranes, a delicate process governed by the rules of quantum mechanics. These subatomic exchanges are the exact mechanisms driving cellular respiration, keeping your organs oxygenated, and even enabling the receptors in your eyes to process light into human vision. Even the energy feeding those processes relies on quantum rules. The sun itself can only achieve nuclear fusion through a process called quantum tunneling, where particles essentially jump through physical barriers to create life-giving radiation. If these invisible quantum rules govern how we breathe and how we see, they likely hold the key to our most complex biological mystery, human consciousness. This is the search that led physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff to look past the brain's electrical signals. They proposed the new ORC-OR model. It suggests that consciousness is not a digital algorithm, but a non-computable quantum process occurring deep within the cellular microtubules of our neurons. If our vision, our cellular energy, and the very thoughts in our heads are driven by quantum phenomena, a human being is essentially a highly evolved quantum machine. Because we run on quantum rules, the tools we use to heal ourselves must adapt to speak that same physical language. Hybrid quantum classical algorithms solve this exact problem. By processing data with quantum properties, computational chemists are finally able to accurately simulate complex molecular behaviors without crashing their systems. Researchers are using these algorithms to calculate drug responsiveness, known as IC50 values, against thousands of unique cancer cell lines. This allows them to accurately predict how specific drugs will perform before a physical trial even begins. As quantum processing power scales, the ultimate goal is to create true digital twins. We are moving toward a future where we can simulate entire human organs, identical to yours down to the exact atomic layout. Once we have deep, accurate digital twins, life sciences can perform entirely safe in silico testing, discovering highly personalized treatments in a fraction of the time. Neuromorphic computing is now dismantling the hardware bottleneck that has limited our artificial intelligence. This chart compares power consumption across computing architectures. The flat NM500 line demonstrates new ferroelectric logic units bypassing the steep power demands of classical CPUs. Generating significantly less heat, they enable dense circuits that mimic biological neurons. Instead of relying on rigid binary code, this architecture faithfully recreates the synchronized, spiking temporal networks of a living brain. By translating the brain's physical principles into hardware, we are moving beyond simple observation. We are beginning to build machines that mirror the actual mechanics of life.